Star Wars is one of those franchises that just seems to stick with you no matter how old you get. Everybody can remember the first time they saw the movie, their first experience with the soundtrack, or even their first game. Something in this universe would leave a lasting impression. For me, it's when I was little and I first watched the end of Return of the Jedi, and that image of Luke Skywalker removing Darth Vader's helmet to see his father one last time is something I'll never forget. Though, like most kids, I kind of forgot about it for a while, getting caught up in other crazes, and it wasn't till the mid-90s that I rediscovered my love for a galaxy far, far away. And I wanted nothing more than to get into a cockpit of an X-Wing, or a TIE fighter, take on the galaxy at large. Thankfully, a series of games were made just for that specific fantasy. And of course I'm talking about the X-Wing series. Today, I'm going to talk about the game that started this whole thing for me. That's right, my name's X-Dragon, and this is Star Wars X-Wing Alliance, a retrospective. Released February 28th, 1999 by Totally Games, X-Wing Alliance is the fourth game in the X-Wing series, though some of us consider it a member of the X-Wing trilogy, which makes up X-Wing, TIE Fighter, and X-Wing Alliance, as X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter. The third game was a multiplayer-only game. Unlike previous installments, you're not immediately thrust into the cockpit as a hotshot rebel pilot. Instead, you start off as a lowly delivery man, learning the ropes from your family, engaging in shipping and receiving, and small skirmishes with a rival organization known as the Viraxo. Of course, it's not long before everything starts to unravel, and push you guys to the brink, fleeing for your lives as the Empire closes in. You find the rebels shortly after Hoth, where they're still licking their wounds from the massive Imperial defeat. They are more than happy to accept you into their ranks. From this point on, the game is broken into 7 battles, each one having about 6 or 7 missions in it. One of the big things I like about this game is even though you're a member of the Rebel Alliance, you're still a member of the Asimene family. In every battle, about 2 missions are dedicated to dealing with your family. That includes rescuing your uncle from a Viraxo prison, trying to get revenge on the man who ruined your life, Carmine Viraxo, or even helping the rebellion, such as resupplying them with warheads or planting listening devices on Imperial communications arrays. As you delve further into the plot for X-Wing Alliance, you'll discover Easter eggs and references to other events that are happening around the Star Wars universe. For example, Battle 4, titled The Bothan Connection, heavily features events from Shadows of the Empire. In fact, you get to personally assist Rogue Squadron and Dash Rendar in capturing the freighter Suprosa. The Vigresso asteroids was a location in the book, and is seen in the game. You bring your sister Erin there, and shortly after it is attacked by none other than Death Squadron, with Lord Vader's Super Star Destroyer Executor entering the battlefield. It is a harrowing mission against time, as you fly past the Imperial Star Destroyers, land at the base, and wait to pick up your sister, all while dealing with incoming TIE Fighters, TIE Bombers, and TIE Interceptors, and then trying to escape before the Super Star Destroyer destroys not only the base, but your little Corellian transport as well. So, once again to reiterate, the timeline for this game is between the Battle of Hoth and the Battle of Endor. Your first battle, Battle 1, Clearing the Way, takes place shortly after Hoth, with the Mon Calamari cruiser Defiance trying to gather the last of the Hoth survivors and evade a huge Imperial task force that's sweeping the area trying to locate them. Your second battle, Secret Weapons of the Empire, takes place as you're transferring to the Mon Calamari cruiser Liberty, and you deal with experimental TIE fighters, which apparently are under the direction of Admiral Zarin, and those who have played TIE Fighter will know he is the mastermind behind the TIE Defender and the TIE Avenger. From there, we go to Battle 3, Over the Fence, which involves some espionage, counter, spy stuff going on with trying to rescue a defector and then capturing a defector who has blown his way out of a Mon Calamari cruiser hangar. As I said, Battle 4, the Bothan Connection, usually ties in a little bit more with Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back, along with Shadows of the Empire, and it is one of the first few times that we'll have some contradiction in canon. The last 2 missions of this battle involve the Battle of Cothless and the Corvette Razor. Those who have played Rogue Leader will know that that mission is featured in the game as well, where you play as Wedge Antilles in a B-Wing attempting to take down the Star Destroyer before it can capture the Corvette. Like this game, it's a 2-part mission, where the second mission is trying to protect or recover the computer. So, it happens twice, 2 different depictions. They're both fun. I'm not here to argue which is canon, which isn't, but it's just an interesting little fact. Following this, we go to Battle 5, Mustering the Fleet, where you deal with pirates, smugglers, really just trying to get yourself some supplies as the Empire is tightening its grip. Battle 6 is appropriately timed the Darkest Hour, and we get to see the many Bothans die to bring us the information as you are tasked with rescuing a Bothan delegation who is trapped by an Imperial interdictor and a Star Destroyer. You find out that your family base has been overrun. You steal the Citadel Tidarium, which is another contradiction, as you take it from a space station, not an Imperial Training Academy, and Rogue Squadron comes in to rescue you, not to do the theft itself. The final battle is, of course, the Battle of Endor. And unlike the other ones, it's only 4 missions, but they are some of the hardest things you've ever played in this game. So let's talk gameplay. You fly your ships in first person, with everything you need right here on your HUD. The top left shows your shield and your hull strength. Green is good, don't ever forget that. Top right is where your beam weapon would go. But in this particular mission we don't have one, so let's not worry about it. Those little red lines right above your target, that's your laser energy. And that is very important because remember, we're playing a simulation, not an arcade shooter. So you can't just expect to hold down the trigger and hit something. You need to monitor your energy to make sure that you're not only keeping your lasers charged, but your engine also balanced. Because the more you charge your lasers, the less energy is going to your engines, meaning the slower you are, the more likely you are to be shot. Unlike previous entries in this series, this game is fully voice acted, and not just the mission lines that are coming across the top of the screen, but also things in the background, such as confirming your kill or yelling as you're getting shot. I think it's pretty good.
Patience has never been one of your virtues, Iman.
We do need some answers, Uncle Anton.
Yeah, like what were you doing here with the mercenaries?
That is a good question. I took a hit in that fight.
Shut him off, will you, Aaron?
How rude. I will have you know that I was...
See, it is pretty good, especially considering that this game is about 21 years old at this point. Looks like they actually put some effort into their voice acting, which I can't fault them for. I think it's great. MK is fantastic. Don't know why Iman sounds Scottish, and Aaron doesn't, but I guess that's the question for another day. So, back to the gameplay. If you guys notice too, you also have to recharge your shields as well. And that's something that can make or break your fight. It all depends on how much attention you're paying to it. And when your shields go out, your ship starts sparking, you start losing systems, you can lose your lasers, you can lose your mobility, you can pretty much just be dead in the water there. And that's not good. Or more appropriately, dead in space, since we're a spaceship and not on the Navy. So everything we're looking at is straight from 1999, the original vanilla version of the game, with all the glorious details intact. And I wanted to bring this up because this is something that always really bothered me about the original release of X-Wing Alliance, and it has to do with the scale of the ships. So we're at Kauthus right now, and this is the assault on Kauthus by the Imperials, and they send in the Executor with another Star Destroyer as background. And as you can see, there's a Super Star Destroyer right next to the Imperial Star Destroyer. And it doesn't look like it's as large as it should be. And it's not. Like, it's not even close to being as big as it should be. And I just really wanted to highlight this because this is some of my favorite things about this game, is just how far off the scale was on its original release, and just how terribly tiny the Super Star Destroyer was compared to the regular ISD. I mean, it just looks like a long pancake version of a Star Destroyer. Nothing representation of the movie that it was in. Here's another shot. This is the mission I mentioned earlier, where you have to go rescue your sister, who is on the Vigrasso asteroids. And here is the ship. And you can see the weird little engine glow there. And I just scanned through it. There's actually a TIE Avenger in this mission. It was a placeholder because things weren't finalized for Darth Vader's TIE Advance X1. But that TIE Avenger is actually Darth Vader. So that's a little cool little trivia for you guys. And again, we go to the Battle of Endor, and spoiler, Liberty gets destroyed. That's Liberty. Boom, she's gone. I think you guys all knew that, but it was a nice addition to have the ship that you've called home for most of the game be the Death Star's first victim. I say first because it does take out a couple more ships, and you can actually fail the assault on the Death Star by allowing the rest of the fleet to get blown up, because the Death Star will be firing as you're trying to fly inside of it. To save space, they used pre-rendered backgrounds, so all those planets and Star Destroyers you see behind the Executor are actually not there. They're just kind of painted in the background like a matte painting. I think it's a pretty cool effect. Obviously, it shows its age right now. As you can tell, they don't look anything like the models that are actually on the screen. But it was a clever way to save on design to make the space look a little bit more lived in. If you guys notice on a couple of the other missions, there's planets, there's galaxies, nebulas, moons, things like that, just kind of thrown around there to really make space feel alive and not just this empty, vast blackness that it actually is. But this is Star Wars. This isn't real life, so gotta roll with it, right? There are other game modes as well. There's a pilot proving ground where you fly your little X-Wing or whatever other ship you want to use around a series of accelerator rings that speed you up. Every couple of them have little lasers that will slow you down. It's a time trial type of thing. Kind of it helps improve maneuverability and aiming. And there's other options too. There's droid hunt and rescue from foundries. It's a really good test of a pilot to see where they're at. There's also a film room and a room that shows your collections, your trophies, if you will, throughout the main campaign. Now for a part that I'm very excited to talk about. It's multiplayer in X-Wing Alliance. So back in the days of dial-up internet, you would go on the MSN Gaming Zone. That's right, MSN Gaming Zone, and play in a lot of hosted lobbies. Now there was this thing called the Week of War hosted by battlestats.net, and it was set up just like that. 2 TIE interceptors, about 5-minute window. Why TIE interceptors? Because they hit hard, like an X-Wing, but they had no shield, so they went down quick. It was kind of the epitome of Fox only, Final Destination, no items. Before it was Fox only, Final Destination, no items. It was a true test of skill. Now, every match will start off the same way, in a head-to-head joust, and your lasers didn't become effective until 1.6 kilometers. You had to decide if you were going to fire 4 lasers linked, or just release a barrage, but you also had to know to dodge too. So if you sat still, you were dead. Once you get past the head-to-head, it becomes a dogfight where you chase the other one down, trying to score a kill. I learned much later in life, because I'm a little slow, that 1/3 speed is your most effective turning radius. I wish I knew that growing up, because I would have done so much better in these Week of Wars. There were multiple clans that would participate. I made some really good friends during this time. The Alliance MOD, Method of Destruction / Messengers of Death. A couple of them are still really good friends today. And that's 21 years after this game came out. In reality, it's only been about 19 since I started playing, since I didn't really get it till 2001. But yeah, this Week of War was always a stress. It was always fun. I was always terrible at it, but I had a blast going into it. And that was at battlestats.net. They used to host everything from X-Wing Alliance to X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter, Jedi Knight, Galactic Battlegrounds. Here's an example of an X-Wing Alliance Week of War from December 2001. My clan DDS is there, and my buddies MOD were on there as well. It would just show everybody who's participating, the time. This is my squadron landing page from BattleStats, all the games we participate. I actually went through it fairly recently and just updated it. As you can see, I'm just amazing at this game with my .35 KD spread. Yep, .35. Going back and replaying this game today, if you were to ask me if this is something that you guys should pick up and play right away, I'd say, hell yeah. It's on Steam, it's on GOG. Go get it. But I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about one last thing of X-Wing Alliance. See, unlike X-Wing and TIE Fighter, and even X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter, it never got a proper expansion. But that's not to say the game is totally dead. There is an incredibly involved modding community, both at XWA Upgrade and Darksaber's Ultimate Craft Pack, and they have brought new life into this game. As you can see right now, that's a TIE Defender chasing down a droid bomber. I mean, they have put countless hours into redoing the textures, the models, the HUDs of everything in this game, bringing it really into the 21st century, and it's just so impressive, just the amount of work that these guys are putting in. They are doing things with this game engine that nobody really thought was possible before. I just really wanted to show this off because this is one of my favorite things about this is the fact that they fixed the Superstar Destroyer. That's not a little pancake Superstar Destroyer shown in. Nope, that is a 19-kilometer long executive class that just showed up to wreck face. And like the backgrounds are there. Cothless looks beautiful. You know, space looks lived in. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if you can live in space, but it just looks so much more alive. The hyperspace transitions are better. I don't know what else to say about that. It looks great. Yeah, you can pick this game up GOG or Steam. Doesn't really matter. The mods work with both, and it's just... Yeah, so here, again, I just want to show this one more time. It's the Liberty in the modern X-Wing Alliance upgrade, and the ship blows up real pretty like. Everything looks great. The background here, those Star Destroyers look more realistic than they did from the 99 version. You really feel like there's actually a blockade, not just some matte painting in the background. And, you know, that could be the end of the X-Wing Alliance's story. Except our modding team is so dedicated. This is what they're working on now. This is footage from DTM. He does a lot of ops, and it is the new upgrade for X-Wing Alliance that unfortunately my computer cannot run. But we now have virtual cockpits, and we have all new effects. New hyperspace right here, just like the movies. These cockpits have everything displayed right there. There's no more HUD. It's all right in front of you. Your targeting computer, your shields, your lasers, everything's there. Heck, they're even adding VR tracking for those of you with a VR headset. So really, X-Wing Alliance is an amazing game that just keeps getting better. It was impressive in 99. It was impressive in 04. It's a random year I just threw out there. And it's impressive in 2020, and it's just going to get better. So definitely pick this game up. Definitely give it a shot. You know, it is one of my personal favorite Star Wars games. So thanks for joining me. This has been X Dragon, and this is X-Wing Alliance, a retrospective.